Good morning, good afternoon and good evening class. This is lecture number 5th of chapter number 5, that is poverty of subject economics. Today we are going to discuss about the causes of poverty. This is our lecture number 5th. In 4 lectures we have discussed about introduction of poverty. Then we have discussed about the income concept and non-income concept of poverty. Then absolute poverty, relative poverty, and in last lecture we have discussed about the indicators of poverty. Today here we are interested in knowing the causes or the reasons of poverty, that what are the reasons that increases the poverty at a national level. In that we are going to discuss basically 5 main points, that is historical reasons, that due to some of the historical incidents and issues it happens that India's poverty is increased. Then causes of rural poverty, in which we are going to discuss about the natural causes and demographic factors. In economic factors we are going to discuss about the low agricultural productivity per labor, unequal distribution of land and property, minimal development of small and cottage industry, rapid increase in prices and high rate of unemployment. While in social reasons we are going to discuss about the low level of education and gender inequality. And lastly, in other reasons we are going to discuss about the war, increase in defense expenditure and defective policy. In today's lecture, due to the limitation of time, we are going to discuss 3 points. First one is historical reason, second one is causes of rural poverty, and third one is social reason. Economic factors and other reasons we will discuss in lecture number 6 of this particular topic or of this particular chapter. Now let us start with point number 5.4, that is causes of poverty, then page number 56. To solve any problem, it is better to know its causes and then find the solution. So to solve the problem of poverty, first of all we have to understand the reasons of poverty, because these are the root causes of poverty. If once we try to understand all the reasons of this poverty, then we will be able to find the solution of that particular point. To eradicate the problem of poverty, it is necessary to understand its reason. So here also in this case, to eradicate or to reduce or to remove the poverty level, we have to understand different reasons. In India, the causes of poverty are as follows, in which first of all the first main point is historical reason. Once upon a time India was very prosperous, and in some of the books it is also given that historical India was very urbanized and very well developed country, because India is very prosperous in the past time. But what are the reasons that results in poverty? In that, first one is a historical reason. So first of all we will discuss about it. Historian says that in the 17th century India was comparatively more urbanized and most commercialized nation. It means in the 17th century India was very prosperous, urbanized and commercial nation, in which there is a high level of business activities undertaken between different countries and within Indian economy. India had major share in exports of cotton textile, and with that silk, spices, paddy was also exported. So cotton textile is our product, because in India basically we are having the agriculture as the main occupation, and majority of the cropping is based on this cotton seed, and out of it we are getting cotton cloth. So along with cotton cloth we are having also the market of silk, spices and paddy. But after the entry of English French and Dutch people. See, in India, there is different 6 kind of peoples who have ruled to India. But out of them, English, French and Dutch people, and due to their policy of colonial exploitation, which we have discussed in chapter number 7 of standard 11 in Indian economy, that because of this colonial exploitation, Indian industries and Indian trade suffered a lot. India's agriculture and industrial situation deteriorated. So here in historical reason, first of all, we will throw light on the topic of agriculture. During the British rule, the agriculture sector suffered in India due to many reasons. Basically, India is an agrarian country. At the time of independence also, 72% of total population was dependent on agriculture, and majority part of the national income or most contribution in national income is from agriculture sector itself. On one hand, Indian agriculture was based on monsoon, but one of the limitation of Indian agriculture is that we are not having proper irrigation and water facility for the growth of agriculture. So basically even today our agriculture is based on monsoon. In the years of good rainfall, we are getting the highest level of productivity and production from the agriculture sector. But in the years of drought and less availability of water, we are suffering a loss in production of agricultural sector. So Indian agriculture was based on monsoon. Britishers did not show any interest in investing money in irrigation projects because their basic policy was of exploitation of Indian farmers and other people, so that their ruling will be easy and they will rule for some more years. So they are not at all interested in irrigation projects, and they are not investing their money on irrigation project and development of agriculture. On the other hand, first hand is that Britishers are not showing any interest in irrigation project, while on the other hand, due to repeated drought, as we have already discussed there, Indian agriculture is based on monsoon. So in a time of a drought, we do not have enough enough rainfall or enough water availability so that we can do proper agriculture. But on the other hand, due to repeated drought, zamindari system, I hope you all are aware with this word. Zamindari means Britishers are appointed some of the persons who are working as a zamindar, and they will collect a land revenue from the farmers and submit it to the Britishers. So due to this zamindari system and their exploitative nature and tenancy system in which the landless farmers are getting land on a tenancy base, that is on a tenant period, the farmers' economic conditions deteriorated and they were under the pressure of debt and interest of loan given to them by zamindars, money lenders and big businessmen. During the time period of drought, farmers are not able to get any kind of crop from their farm. Every year, there will be some kind of notion in the mind that this year will be fruitful and good monsoon will helpful in agricultural production. So they are going to the landlords, zamindars for taking the loan for cropping purpose. But again, due to the situation of drought, their debt is heavily increasing and they never come from this situation or this circle, vicious circle of poverty because of heavy loan and interest burden. So they were under the pressure of debt and interest of loan given to them by zamindars, money lenders and big businessmen. Cultivators started losing land because zamindars are taking majority of their cropping as a tax from the farmers. Sometimes it may happen that if the farmer is not able to pay the full tax amount, then this zamindar will forfeit their land and they becomes landless. So cultivators started losing land, the farmers and agriculture suffered, and so poverty increased because majority of the occupation was agriculture. So more people are engaged in this particular sector, and due to this exploitative nature, they will suffer a loss. Now we are going to talk about the business and trade situation. In case of business and trade, Britishers followed that kind of tax policy, trade policy and industrial policy which would benefit them by trading in India. Basically, Britishers came here for doing a business. But after knowing the situation of Indian economy and different states and their ruling system, they started ruling India. So now everything is in their hand. So they are deciding trade policy, tax policy and industrial policy which will help the Britishers and exploit the position of Indian businessmen. Indian exports were prohibited in Europe, whereas goods produced in England were given a lot of tax concession and freedom to sell in the Indian market. As we all know that economic reforms and industrialization happened in England almost 50 years before happened in India. It means they are more than 50 years advanced in industrialization. They required a huge raw material for running their factories, but due to lack of this material, their eyes is on Indian market. So they started trade policy in which Indian businessmen cannot sell their finished goods to the Europe, but they can sell their raw material to the European countries. Due to which Indian industries are fall down and they are not able to produce the goods because there is no market for Indian goods. Same way, out of this cheap raw material, Britishers are producing a huge amount of goods and they can sell it to the different nations, and India was amongst one of them. So England were given a lot of tax concession and freedom to sell in the Indian markets. Moreover, to supply these goods to each and every corner of the India. See, it is vice versa. In one hand, they are getting cheapest raw material from the different corner of India and they are transporting it to the nearest port from where they can export it to the England. And same way, those finished goods which are coming from England by the way of import will be sold in different corners of India by the way of Indian Railway. And that's why Indian Railway was extensively used. And for this purpose only, Britishers have started Indian Railway. Otherwise, their purpose was not at all for the benefit of Indian economy. Because of this kind of policy of business and trade, Britishers gained surplus from production and sale in India because on one hand they are getting cheapest raw material labor from India, and on another hand they are selling their goods at a very high cost or at a very high price to Indian market, which they invested in Britain to speed up industrialization and used Indian market to sell finished goods produced in Britain. So in both these cases, they are beneficial. In this system, Indian trade and business started losing their competitive power. So due to this system, Indian trade and businesses started losing their competitive power and production power. At the time when Britishers entered into India, there is almost more than 1 lakh small and cottage industries were there who are producing in a large quantity. But because of this policy,